What else can I say that hasn't been said? A speechless performance. What else can you say besides new coach? Same old Huskers. You can go out in the transfer portal. You can get a quarterback. You can get running back. You can get wide receivers. You can get all the skilled players in the world. But just like Nebraska did, if you don't address the offensive line, bad things are going to happen. Okay, that's exactly where the nucleus of the problem is right now for Nebraska football. It's that at least on offense. I'll talk about defense in a minute. It's that offensive line. That offensive line is letting guys come through untouched. They can't pick up blitzes. They can't recognize where the blitzes are coming from. There has been a lot of movement. There has been a lot of new pieces from a coordinator, coaches, firing coaches, new personnel. And it's clear to me that this Nebraska personnel just hasn't been able to gel together, and it's just not fit. And it starts with the offensive line, right? You saw Oklahoma. If I was Oklahoma early in this game, just continue to blitz. If I'm watching this tape and I'm a team in the future that Nebraska has to play, I'm bringing the blitz. I'm bringing 5. I'm bringing 6. I'm bringing 7. Engage 8, baby, for all you Madden players out there. Like, this is a team, if you constantly bring pressure and you have a great pass rush, you're going to beat them. That's it. And if this offensive line continues to play like they are, Casey Thompson's going to get hurt. And you saw when Chubba Purdy comes into the game, all right, he's no better, right? This is going to be a long season for Nebraska, right? The inevitable happened with firing Scott Frost, and that needed to happen. But the issues on this team, both on offense and defense, are basic, are fundamental, and if you don't have that down right now as a team, it's going to take a while for Mikey Joseph. I'll throw him a bone and say, dude, I think you're a good coach, but man, you're in a really tough and you're in a really bad situation right now. Like, that's it. Let's talk about defense, right? This is a team that's weak up front. I think we were excited. I think a lot of people in Big Ten country were excited about what Nebraska had in terms of a pass rush. Okay, Garrett Nelson on one side, O'Shawn Mathis, the TCU transfer, on the other side. O'Shawn Mathis has been a ghost. You have not seen him. He has been basically non-existent. They said it on the television broadcast, and there's been a lot of guys. You look at Ramir Johnson and Omar Manning haven't showed up really on offense. I mentioned O'Shawn Mathis on defense, and this is just not a tough team. I mentioned it on the offensive line. I'm going to say it again on the defensive line. You look at Georgia Southern, you look at Oklahoma, probably teams that aren't necessarily known for running the football, yet they were able to run over Nebraska. Look at that Northwestern game in week 0 and what the Wildcats were able to do, being physical and running all over that Nebraska front. You see the trend, you see the common denominator here. This is a soft football team. And as long as this team continues to be soft in the interior on both offense and defense, teams like Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, maybe Iowa, are going to continue to run all over them. Michigan's in that schedule as well. Here's an honest question. Is Nebraska going to win a game the rest of the season? We're now in Big Ten play. We got 8 Big Ten games left. Your easiest ones are probably the first ones on the schedule. Home against Indiana, and then they got to travel to Rutgers. Who knows if they'll be favored in either of those games, but I'm looking at both of those games and I'm like, that's going to be no cakewalk, especially going to Rutgers on a Friday night. And then you look at after that. Purdue, Illinois, then you got your Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, all those teams are in there. It is going to be a long year. It is going to be a rough year for Nebraska football. This is a transition, and I feel bad for these players currently in the program and the ones that have transferred in because, man, you're 4 games into this one and you're done. You're 1-3, and yeah, maybe you can go out there and win a couple of games, but right now the issues on this team are basic issues. They're fundamental issues, and these are issues that you should get. These are issues that I learned at 6th grade football tryouts. It's how to tackle, how to sprint up to a guy, keep your head up, wrap up. It's those types of issues. It's how to recognize a blitz on the offensive line, right? When I look at this offense, it is best when there's quick passing involved and it is best when the running backs are out in space and able to kind of be shifty, and once they separate from the offensive line. The O-line is going to do absolutely no favors for this offense this season. That's it. You got to try to find a combination that kind of works in there, but they've been shuffling a lot. I know Turner Corcoran has played a lot of positions on that offensive line. Things just aren't working. It's a tough situation for everybody involved, from Mikey Joseph to the coordinators. But this is what you've built, right? You gotta lie in the bed that you have built right now at Nebraska, and that's exactly what they've built. The result, although I thought this would be more competitive, I thought Nebraska would feed off the emotion all the way through the contest and not just the first drive of the game. It shouldn't be surprising. It shouldn't be a surprising result, because we knew what we saw in other games is Nebraska can't stop the run. They can't get a pass rush on defense. Their offensive line is weak. These are consistent, fundamental issues, and these are issues that are going to continue to plague Nebraska. Okay? This is a good example for maybe teams that want to go out into the transfer portal to really transform their team, to really improve their team. You've got to look at it this way. Just because there's players out there doesn't mean bringing in all these new players is going to work. It worked at Michigan State, okay? But that doesn't necessarily mean, and it's not working at Nebraska. I know, but you put all of them together, they haven't gelled together, cohesion, it's just not there. It's going to be a rough year. Hopefully Nebraska can get a coach in there that throws it all out into the garbage and brings in something new, but it's going to be a rough season. Will they win another game? Is this going to be another 3-9? Are we going to see back-to-back 3-9 seasons in Lincoln, Nebraska? If they don't fix their issues on the interior, that could very well happen. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Are you as doom and gloom as I am? I mean, I don't mean to be negative. I'm a positive guy, but I look at this team and I don't see a lot. You can talk about all the skill players all you want, but those skill players ain't getting the ball unless this offensive line can do something, unless they can stop somebody, unless they can pick up blitzes. They're not doing anything on offense if that defense can't stop anybody. If they can't stop Georgia Southern, if they can't stop Oklahoma, if they can't stop Northwestern, this offense is going to be playing catch-up in every single game this season. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to Big Ten Ted. I'm Big Ten Ted, and we will see you in the next one.